Hello and welcome to the ADHD Girls podcast with me, Laura.
And me, Claire.
And we're going to go straight into how ADHD has shown up for us this week. So, Claire, how has ADHD made itself known to you?
It's shown up today in the form of discovering calorie counting.
Oh, tell me about that. What do you mean by calorie counting?
Yeah, so I had a appointment with a physio this week, which incidentally I forgot I had the appointment because I didn't put it in my calendar. And anyway, I had a virtual appointment. We were just talking about weight and food, and talking about some damaging patterns I have with food.
Mm-hmm.
And again, no judgment on size or anything, but for me, I'm eating things that aren't doing me much good and we're talking about energy levels and sleep, and we're looking at what I'm eating. Anyway, he mentioned an app which helps with calorie counting, and I was like, oh, I've never ever in my life done calorie counting.
Mm-hmm.
I thought, well, I'll give it a go. And within a day, I kind of hyperfocus so much into calories and everything. And at the moment, I'm enjoying doing it, and I've had good results.
Okay.
Yeah. But it's just...
it's different. With this one, I think it's very focused on health over, oh my God, I can't eat.
Yeah, it's working for me at the moment. I haven't felt like I'm suffering anything. It's given me insight into possibly what's causing energy slumps. And
so it's got a positive way of looking at calorie counting.
Definitely.
Not like I can only eat 20 calories or something.
No.
It's just about being mindful.
Yeah, so we're looking at sort of what foods might help with sustaining energy throughout the day, and it's things like eating sort of brown rice instead of white rice, and anything that it's in terms of like holistic health, what I can do that means I'm filling up on the right sort of foods that are going to help me function and not have these energy highs and lows throughout the day.
Which I think, for me, my experience is that feeds into my ADHD, because if I'm having a lot of sugar, then I find I'm on top of the world, but my ADHD is then on another planet with the sugar hit and that high feeling, and then the come down from that, because we feel our feelings more. So I think it's important to be aware of how food can affect us / our the spectrum-y side of things.
And just to give an example of how I go full into something when it's piqued my interest, I discovered apples are a good snack, because they're quite low in calories, but they're good in fibre, because I've been told to increase my fibre.
Mm-hmm.
I ate far too many apples in a day, and I had disastrous consequences on my digestion. So that is where ADHD will show up, because I'm like, oh yeah, apples, great.
Yes.
I'm going to go in excess.
Body's like, detox time.
Yeah. So that's how it can show up in all kinds of ways.
But now you know that, next time you'll go,
I'm going to refine that. And not...
So 3's the limit. Maybe 2 next time.
I know. It's just like, for a whole day, apples were anything I think of. Like, apples are great. Apples. There's so sorry about apples. So.
But that is such an ADHD trait of mine. It's like, oh my God, I like this. And then like,
it's just too much of a good thing.
Body can't cope with this.
Yeah. So what about you, Laura?
So I think my one is what we're going to talk about this episode. So anyone listening, we've recently changed the format of our podcast. We're going to have how ADHD has shown up for us. And then one of us is going to talk about whatever we're kind of struggling with, or whatever's kind of like, oh, this week's been a bit like, this is a big having an impact on me. And the other person listening will try and, okay, let's unpack that and let's see what we can do with that. And hopefully that will give our listeners something helpful and insightful, maybe even, or maybe just have that connection over, oh God, it's not just me going through that.
So we started it last week.
Yes.
Where I spoke about something I was struggling with that week, and I found it a very therapeutic session with you, actually, where you noticed a lot of things I hadn't necessarily noticed, and you made some suggestions, and I felt listened to and heard, which is something really important for us if you're struggling with life with being told you're too much, too difficult, too this, too that.
Too whatever.
Yeah, just too much of something. To have that, someone saying, well, I hear you and it's okay, and I also struggle with it.
Yeah. And it's that genuine way of someone kind of go, oh yeah, kind of just looking at things in a different way. That's, I think, really, really helpful. And you kind of go, oh, okay, yeah, that's...
So we might utilise a bit of counselling, listening skills, and
we were talking about this because we were talking about like counselling and coaching.
Yes.
And I find counselling is very much about feelings and emotions, while coaching is very much about mindset. And I find if you can combine the two together,
like a hybrid.
Yeah, it's kind of that kind of step forward of hopefully where you kind of start going in the direction you are aiming or want to. Or that place.
It's important to look at past patterns and behaviours, and it's also important to set some tangible goals possibly that you can work on and
be realistic over emotions, because I think the coaching almost dismisses emotions. It's just about mindset, but counselling is just so emotions where you're like, well, you need another input in there to get.
They complement each other, don't they?
I think so.
Yeah. So with that in mind, Laura, would you like to start telling us about what you've struggled with recently?
I find I need structure, but I can't deal with structure. I find I don't like being, you have to be here at that time. And for me, it's like, well, why am I going? Yeah, if there's a reason behind it, I'm fine. But I struggle with it. I really, really struggle. And I'm writing. I do a lot of writing. And it's really difficult for me to sit down and start writing. Once I'm writing, I'm fine. I'm absolutely great. Once I'm in that zone, it's flowing, it's going well. I do sometimes still get a bit distracted. But for me, it's the discipline I struggle with, the structure, and the 57 trillion things going on in my mind that, they go, right, there's also this to do, there's also that to do, there's also this. So I will try and take myself at the house to write, but then it's trying to find somewhere with free parking that I can just get one drink that has Wi-Fi and plugs to your socket, because my laptop dies after half an hour. And it's trying to find somewhere that ticks all these boxes.
So would it be useful to have a think about some strategies for task initiation?
Yes, because I find when I'm at home, that needs doing, or that also needs doing. And then before I know it, a whole day's gone where I've accomplished other things, but not what actually I want to do. That feeds so I've done the admin tasks, but nothing, the thing that hopefully will put some money in my account and something that I want to do, because I love writing, and hopefully I will make it into a career job, whatever you want to call it. And I think when you unpack that, it's something I find when I go online, a lot of people with ADHD on the spectrum struggle with discipline, structure, starting tasks, and then focus on not having the distractions of, I've done this for a little bit, I now need to do something else. Because it's like, I'm that typical person where I'm walking around the kitchen, that needs doing, and then that also needs doing. And then before I know it, I'm somehow upstairs in my bedroom, starting task 57, where there's 54 other tasks that I'm like, I started that, I put the glass there, but then I did that, then I opened this, then I had that. Because I find once I'm in that zone of starting something, it's like, I can't stop now. Because the second I sit down or stop, everything stops.
So it's about some regulation as well.
Regulation is all or nothing.
And maintaining it.
So,
right, so there's a few things going on here.
There's a lot going on. Good luck.
Thanks.
Why am I doing this week? No.
Right, I would say that. So the environment you're talking about is at home, and that's, I think probably a lot of people will relate to that. The area, everything needs to be
our
clear
environment.
Clutter.
Yeah, our environment is vital. Like you were saying about work and things, and people were like behind you, and it's distracting. Right. I think being at home is the worst place to work because you're so distracted by all the other
So
things.
with that in mind, I think it's really good that you're saying you try to go outside, because obviously I think being at home, it's never ending. There will always be something to distract you.
Yes.
Okay. So there's a few things you can do. You can either put in some strategies, which I'll talk about in a minute, for getting started at home and see how that gets on. But I think it's really good that you take yourself out, because you're giving yourself permission to go and not get distracted by the stuff at home, because I can completely relate to this getting distracted by everything. It's visual clutter, it's physical clutter.
It's mental clutter as well, because at home you're kind of, just because you're at home and in that safe home environment, I find my brain automatically is like, lulling and not stressed, which is great. But when you're out, it's almost like my brain goes into mode of something else.
And would you like to be able to do, realistically, it's probably helpful that you can do some at home as well, isn't it? You can't go out every day.
No,
you can't
it's not
be spending money.
No.
You need to be able to do some work at home.
Yes.
So I think you're never going to have a completely, finished home environment. That's one thing. So I would think that there's something around how you can stay focused on tasks. So we can look at how you can start the task and stay focused on it. How long do you like to work in chunks of time?
This is where as well, because I find once I'm in that flow state, it feels like 10 minutes, but maybe an hour has gone past, maybe 2 hours. And this is that's when you know, right, I'm in that state of flow or that state, whatever people want to call it, where your mind is not realising time, the flow of time. And so, it could be anything between 1 hour to 2 hours.
And how does it feel when you're in that? Like, do you want to have that creativity going with sort of an unlimited time, or do you want the structure? I'm hearing from you do want structure.
Yes, because I'm realistic. But once I'm in that state, it just depends on, do I need to pick up my child from school or not? Because obviously because that's in the middle of the day, and that's where a lot of us on the spectrum are like that middle of the day thing where I know any time when it comes within 20 minutes of that, I have to stop because I'm constantly looking at the clock because I find time can go so quickly. I don't want to. Yeah. There is an alarm on my phone that goes off. But then it's like me trying to get ready okay, I need to come out of the state of flow almost to then get myself ready to then do the school run.
Have you heard about this thing? I think it's called, I can't remember. But it's something about, I've heard it said, and I totally expect myself again. Come on to that. But having an appointment at 3:00 in the afternoon is appalling for ADHD people. Yeah. Because for some reason, like, okay, obviously that depends on your particular timeline. If you're a night shift worker, that's obviously not going to be relevant. But something about having, say you've got a medical appointment at 3:00 in the afternoon, I find I can't do anything that day until that appointment because I daren't start anything because I know I've got to get to that appointment. Yeah. And it's a long time to have to wait to have to do it. So you saying about the school pickup, that is kind of happening around that time, isn't it? So
there's so much against me.
I know. But we can utilise your ADHD in a good way that can help you. So one thing I do at work, so I totally understand what you're saying about the starting tasks, and I have similar at work. And one of the strategies I use, I'm not saying it works every time, but I will give myself an appointment in my calendar. Sometimes it's only 5 or 10 minutes. It might even be as simple as answer 5 emails within that time. Something realistic. But so for us to do to complete a task for ADHD people, we need a certain set of circumstances. And one of them is having a deadline. Yes. One of them is having a sense of justice that can ignite you and think like that pushes us through. Yeah. Having an external accountability is really important.
That's what my issue is. I have no accountability apart from to myself. So I made myself this thing where I was like, right, I'm going to get a bar of chocolate when I finish a chapter. And ended up not writing a word and just eating the bar of chocolate because I'm like, there's no one stopping me from eating the bar of chocolate, which is awful. But that's just, I'm being honest. That's what,
And the other thing is to gamify it. Now, I personally find that really helpful. I try to gamify things because that's...
What do you mean by gamify?
Wow.
What am I doing? Am I starting hitting turtles with hit bricks? What's going on?
Whack-a-mole.
Whack-a-mole. Whack myself. Woman, get it started.
So number one, I give myself these timers. So even just a really simple task, like answer 5 emails, that gets me started. I will get a dopamine hit from completing that task. Now, it's only really simple. You can adapt it to however. So I'll give myself a task like just start those emails. That will get me started. I think all you've got to do is 10 minutes. And you would be surprised what you can get done. Now, it'll sound really obvious and simple. A lot of people, whether they're neurodivergent or not, might use this. The reason it works for us is because you will get that reward from completing it. Okay, and it's deadline. You're almost trying to beat yourself. Yeah. See how quickly I can get this task done. Okay, now you're talking about working in quite a big chunk of time. So then So we're talking about external reasons. I would kind of work on what your external motivations. But the other way to look at that is having something called a body double.
Yeah, when you work by yourself, that's difficult.
Yeah. So what I use, and you could do it with me. Okay. We could have a WhatsApp call or something. Okay. But we're not talking to each other. We're just working. And for an hour, we'd be calling each other. I could be sitting typing at my desk. You're sitting typing at your desk. It's something quite unique to ADHD people that seems to really motivate people to get something done.
Because it is accountability, but it's a soft accountability.
Exactly.
It's not like someone staring at you with a whip going, no, better get this sorted. No. It's almost like, well, I'm here, but I'm letting you do what you need to do.
Doing the thing that not doing the thing you're doing, but in that same, not the same physical space, but by using a phone, we could have a video call. Yeah. We'd have a Teams call, whatever. And I can every so often look at the screen. I do it at work quite a lot. I will go into these sort of virtual body doubling spaces. And I find it's like, something about that just gives me that impetus to work for I usually do it for about an hour time. And not entirely sure why it works, but it does seem to work.
Yeah.
So you could definitely do that.
If you know you've got to type, then we could call or
Yeah.
Because they do like online writing sprints, and I've never gone to one because I think for me, if I've done it a few times, I'm fine because I know what to expect. But it's almost like I have not exactly anxiety, but I've never done it before, so I'm not sure what's going to happen. And I know it's only an online writing sprint, like nothing bad will happen. But because I've never done it, there's an unknown.
Yeah.
Where I'm like, I don't know if I want to.
That's understandable. Like,
do this, but I know it would probably help. But this could help. But because this is where accountability will be huge. But I need soft accountability.
Yeah, and so because we're quite good at doing things other people, and we are motivated by that. It's extrinsic thing. There's something that will switch on in the brain and think, right, I'm doing this for the other person who's sat at the other end of the Teams call. But you don't have to talk, you don't have to do anything, you're just working. Yeah. You're doing whatever it's even like, I need to get some tidying done. I need to clean the area before I get started.
Observer effect, isn't it? It keeps out a lot, because I'm into the science thing, and they're saying the observer effect of just observing something changes the dynamics of it, and you don't have to do anything or do it. It's just that observe it, just something being there.
And then the gamifying aspect is there are apps, and one of them's called Finch.
Oh.
And it's a little bird. I've tried it. To be honest, I didn't find it that helpful for me.
What's Finch about?
You have to help the bird, and he'll give you little tasks to do, and you'll set out what you need to do, like help with getting dressed or whatever, doing some tasks.
So you set the task,
yeah,
and then on this app there's a bird that
and it will remind you when to do it, and then it'll make these little chirping noises like bling, 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 and you're getting these these positive sounds.
Does the bird die if you don't do it?
I've not killed it yet.
Oh, okay.
I mean,
is that the thing of it? Like, if you don't do the task, the bird dies.
I don't think it's like.
Is that what? No. What is the purpose? Like, what's the motivation for me to do the task? Because if there's a bird there and it's like, if you don't do the task you've set, this bird will die very slowly,
that's a really good
painful
point.
way.
I don't
I'm
think
going to go, oh my God,
dies.
I need to do this task because I can't let the bird die. But if it's just like there's a bird chirping and you have to do a task, I'm just going to be like, F off, I'm not doing it.
I think you kind of hit the nail on the head what didn't work for me. But it's an idea. Give it a go. You might like it. So somebody else on the team might find this helpful. So there's other apps. But there's tons of apps.
There's other apps available.
In case anyone's like, you can't. But this was like, and it sort of jumps up and down. It's like, nothing, it's not going to die.
Oh,
but maybe that's why.
Maybe I'm going to invent something where something's super cute. You set yourself a task, and if you don't do that task, you're going to have to watch it die. But I don't know how it would know that you've done the task or not, because I could just say, I've done the task and it's alive, but I haven't done the task. I don't know. This is what I mean. I need more. Our brains go into the different levels of, but if I do that, this is where I struggle, because I know I'm so close to, I think there's another part of me where I'm so close to finishing these books that there's an anxiety and oh my God, I've spent all this time and effort in these books and it's now coming to an end, which I do want the end, but then once it's at the end, I have to release them. And then that's a whole different stress level thing. So I don't know if subconsciously there's that there over, well, once I do this task, then that task will start.
Yeah.
And I'm just apprehensive over that thing of like, and then once I've done that, then I've already got my next books. It's basically this mess of joy that I've written, that basic outline for my next books. And I'm excited to start that. So there's a positive.
Yeah.
But then I wouldn't say it's a negative, but it's just a lot for me to do.
Yeah.
So I'm aware of my own self and how I deal with things.
Sounds like a bit of anxiety around what might be next.
Yes, I think there is anxiety because it's that cycle of what happens.
And is it also anxiety over the finishing the product and finishing?
Yeah. It's finishing that project where I think I've worked so hard on these books and I'm happy to kind of let it go, but it's also the end of working with them. So it's a bit of a two ways of looking at it of, oh God, I'm glad it's going to be over because I'm pretty much halfway through book 3 and it's going to be, finished very soon. I think, there's a lot going on, not just actually going on, but mentally for me. And I think it's taking that on board as well over the accountability. And like I said, our brains on each bit, like the accountability will go into 50 different ways. Then in this book, it will go into 50 different ways. Then so there's a lot of information that my brain is processing around this. And it's then the little bits of what I need to manage myself. So I'm aware of myself and all my joys.
So we've looked at some practical ideas, some around task initiation, staying on track. And it sounds like finishing's quite hard as well, and knowing when the thing is finished.
That's it. It's never going to be finished. I can literally work on this for the rest of my life. It will never be finished. I think it's just a point where I go, it's as good as it can be. Yeah. And that's something I've struggled with because perfectionism, or what I call it, I want things to be the very best of whatever they can be. And I have to come to the realization it's never going to be finished. It's never going to be, this is amazing, because I would just never let it go. I would never get there.
ADHD makes you think hard on yourself, treat yourself harder? I
find I'm really critical of myself, my work, because I want it to be a good, someone whoever reads this to go, oh, that was really good. I really enjoyed that. And I can't control that. It's out of my control. So that's why I think, oh my God, if I keep working and keep editing and keep, rereading and redoing sentences, then it will be amazing.
Is that linked to the strong emotional connection we can have with things and projects?
Yes, because I find we feel things more, and also this sensitive
rejection sensitive.
That's it, because you think, oh my God, I don't want anyone to say this is crap. And so there's so much tied up. There's a whole tornado of emotions around creative projects, I find. And I'm learning to go, that's okay. I'm learning to go progress over perfection, because someone might like it, someone might not. But if I know, right, I've done the best, I just have to let this go. So I'm there. Physically, the book is done. Emotionally, it will never be done. But it's me learning to go, right, this is it. And then move on to the next project.
So, Laura, do you want to sort of summarise how you feel having had this conversation?
It's really helped me. Again, like you actually listening, giving me actionable things to do, like, the body doubling, and just basically being able to talk about, like, this is what I'm feeling stuck with. I now have better thing with it, accountability. I've come to, I think, better realization of it is accountability. I just do, I'm so close, and it's not just the physical side, it's the emotional side that I find is probably holding me back more than I realised.
Quite draining, the big emotions around it.
Yeah, and I think that's why I've been feeling quite tired and drawn out this week.
Yeah.
And I find we sometimes forget how much our mental, us thinking about things so much has that physical drain on us as well. Not just the mental drain, it shows up in our bodies.
It requires a lot of energy.
Yes.
Going through all these emotions. Never mind the actual physical task of doing a thing. Yeah.
It's the emotion. I think it really, really helped me to kind of come in. I'm going to be calling you saying, okay, I've got an hour of writing. We need to schedule that. And I think I'm going to be working on accountability, because I know it's not just about, physically, it's about emotionally. They come together. Because sometimes you might be physically able to do something, but mentally you're not.
Yeah.
Well, other times you mentally might be, right, I've got this, but you're physically just like, oh my God, I'm just not able to.
So you can have like 2 days in a row and they're completely different. And one day you might have all the conditions might be right, but you're just not in that headspace. And it's all right to say, actually, today's not going to work.
And recognising
do another day,
recognising that. And I think, I'm so close. And I think that's also another part to it, where it's, towards the end of a creative project, and it's that uncertainty around the next stage. So there's so much going on with it. So it's really, thank you, Claire. You really helped me to get it all out. I'm much more in a better headspace to the coming week, and accountability, and just get it done.
Yeah.
Get that done.
You do it in 5-minute chunks, even if that helps.
Well, that's the thing, because once I start writing, I'm gone for the foreseeable future. It's like, that's it. I'm good. I am that tight.
Give yourself block yourself out some days where there's no pressure on yourself. It's like, this could be a really good writing day, but you don't schedule anything. Just see what happens. That might work as well, where you take that pressure off. And, some days are never going to work, even if you've got all the conditions right. Well, they might appear to be right. The emotional state might not be right.
Yeah. And that's so important, because I think anything creative emotionally, if you're not there, it's just not going to work.
Yeah.
So just being realistic with yourself.
Sure.
Well, thank you so much, Claire. I hope maybe someone listening is in kind of maybe brought something to you where you're kind of working on something and it's just like, what do I do? What happens? And I think being honest with yourself as well.
Yeah. And we talk about emotion quite a lot, but I think that's a big thing. And like, don't try and push it down. Try and be curious. What is the emotion going on?
Yeah, I think we're curious because there's no judgment there.
No.
When you're curious, it's not good or bad. You're just like, oh, I wonder what. And I think it's just staying with the curious side a bit more. So, yes.
Okay, well, we'll see you next week.
Bye.